When you accept people's words at face value, you lose your leverage. Picture it. During a meeting, someone may ask, "Just curious," before forcing you to justify your judgment. When a friend grins and says, "No offense, but," at dinner, your status becomes public. You're in a relationship and your spouse says, "I'm fine," in a flat tone that implies you're about to pay for something later. When someone says, "Interesting," on a post online, it can be seen as a signal of uncertainty among the audience. Every time it appears harmless, every time it is not. Heat rises into your chest. Your cortisol levels increase. Your jaw tightens. You have a primordial impulse to explain, clarify, and establish that you are not what they are insinuating. And that is the trap. The person who explains is the one being handled. The person who reacts is the one being steered. The one who seeks clarification is already underneath. The person who remains calm is the one who retains the frame. Machiavelli understood this brutally well. Most individuals do not stand up to disclose the truth. They speak to establish themselves. Conversation is seldom a conversation, it's a matter of rank. And those 3 words spoken casually, even sweetly, are frequently the moment the knife slips out of the sleeve. Because when someone uses them, they do not provide you with any information. They're attempting to force you into a scenario in which you become the defendant. Your reputation is your throat, and their innocent question is the sword held against it. You start talking, and you find yourself on trial in a courtroom you never agreed to enter. What if you didn't? What if you treated those 3 words as a smoke alarm, giving you an early warning about what they actually want before they act? I'll show you how to identify the 3 words that reveal concealed intent instantaneously. I'm going to show you how to invert the frame so they can't force you to explain yourself. I'll show you how to destabilize the individual attempting to control you without raising your voice. And I'll show you how to become so unreadable that their manipulation vanishes in your shadow before it can reach you. However, there is a price. You have to eliminate something childish within yourself. You must overcome the need to be perceived as nice, the yearning to be understood, the need to win every interaction through honesty. Because when you want approval, you become predictable. Predictable people are easier to handle. If you can satisfy that craving, you become dangerous. Let we begin. Here are 3 words, simple, clean, almost polite. Help me understand. And you must understand why this works. Otherwise, you would use it as a hobby rather than a weapon. Most manipulation survives in the fog. On implication, currently under pressure. On vibrations. The attacker does not want to be precise, since accuracy implies accountability. Precision generates receipts. Precision produces a record that the room can judge. Fog keeps them protected. Fog allows them to stab you and then seems bewildered when you bleed. Help me understand has one harsh effect. It pushes their objectives to come into the open. Because you aren't defending, you aren't debating, you aren't reacting, you are urging them to clarify. And clarification is where liars, passive-aggressive individuals, and hidden rivals choke. When someone is serious, they value clarity. They will explain swiftly, gently, and clearly. They seek resolution. However, when someone is playing a game, clarity seems like handcuffs. They're going to dodge. They will become annoyed. They will accuse you of overthinking. They'll try to turn it against you. They'll say, "You know what I mean," or "Forget it," or the traditional coward's maneuver, "Nothing, it is fine." That is the reveal. The words themselves are not magical. The reaction is, "Help me understand," is a trapdoor beneath their feet. If their intentions are genuine, they will step onto solid ground. If their goal is to gain control, they will fail. Now, pay close attention, because this is where most people make mistakes. You do not speak it with fear. You don't say it as if you were pleading for peace. You express it as if a court is requesting a witness to repeat their statement. Calm, slow, eyes are steady, no smile, no apologies, just quiet authority. Help me comprehend. What are you implying? What should I do with that statement? You can ask follow-up questions, but the fundamental message stays the same. You're pushing them to choose between truth and fog. And this is why it is Machiavellian. Machiavelli did not teach morals. He teaches mechanics. He demonstrated how power passes through perception. This phrase alters the frame. In a regular interaction, they deliver a discreet jab, and you scramble to clean it up. You become the defendant, they become the prosecutor. The courtroom is theirs. But as soon as you say, "Help me understand," the courtroom flips. They are now the one on the stand. Now they must clarify what they meant. They must now accept the consequences of their actions. You did not participate in the trial. You compelled the accuser to testify. That is frame control. And it's terrifying because it's silent. You did not attack them. You did not insult them. You did not raise your voice. You've just removed their preferred hiding spot. Fog. So, if you want to know someone's genuine intentions, stop studying their words and instead observe what occurs when you demand clarity. Some people get respect. Some people get exposed. Certain people become hazardous. All of this is useful knowledge. Because someone who secretly intends to harm you will always dislike being held accountable. Let's put it to use where it's needed, because theory is unnecessary. You need results. The first arena is the workplace. Someone says, "Interesting choice," in front of the entire crew. Or, "Are you sure you're ready for that?" with a non-blinking smile. This is a public needle. The purpose is not truth. The purpose is to cause you to doubt yourself in front of witnesses. Most people respond in a weak way. They defend, they over-explain, they chat quickly, their voice raises slightly. They appear guilty without having committed a crime. You do not do that. You glance at them and ask, "Help me understand. What is it that you are specifically concerned about?" Then came quiet. You forced them to make a decision. If they were sincerely worried, they would provide specifics. If they were aiming to harm your reputation, they'd either avoid or be unclear. And if they go vague, that's fine, because imprecise criticism does not constitute feedback. This is sabotage disguised as opinion. You react with a calm boundary. If you have specifics, please send them to me. Otherwise, let us move on. You do not argue. You reroute. You've just educated the audience who is serious and who is performing. The second area is friendship. This is where latent hatred thrives, because friendship provides proximity without examination. When you win, a friend comments, "Must be nice," or "Don't change while you mature," or "Wow, you're really different now," when you're no longer available. This isn't always hatred. Insecurity is sometimes the cause. However, when insecurity is transformed into control, it becomes hatred. So, don't laugh it off. You don't become defensive. You remain cool and ask, "Help me understand. What do you mean by that?" Then came quiet. Pay attention to what happens next. A true friend will rectify themselves. They will soften. They will admit that they are feeling something. they'll be honest. A secret enemy will punish you for asking, "Oh my God, I can't say anything around you." Or it might be, "You're too sensitive," or "Forget it." That reaction reveals everything you need to know, because the individual that loves about you does not mind transparency. They don't want to hurt you. The person who wants to maintain control over you despises clarity because it undermines their advantage. The third arena is relationships. This is where deception frequently lies under emotion. "I'm fine. Do whatever you want. It's nothing." Translation: you'll pay later, and you won't know the exact price until you're guilty. So you don't chase. You do not beg. You don't write extensive paragraphs just to be understood. You say, "Help me understand. Are you upset about anything specific?" Calm. If they respond clearly, you can remedy the problem. If they refuse to clarify, you now understand the game being played. Ambiguity as a weapon. And most importantly, you should not reward fog with terror. Panic is the cash used to buy manipulation. If they refuse to talk clearly, you stop bargaining. You establish the policy. "I'm open to talking when it's direct and respectful." Then you stop. No speeches, there is no negotiation. Your calmness becomes the boundary. The fourth arena includes social media and public spaces. People utilize implication to their advantage because audiences exaggerate it. Someone says, "Interesting," or "Sure," or "Lol, okay." This is not a conversation. It is a performance intended to portray you as dumb. Most people either ignore it while it simmers or explode. Both scenarios benefit the attacker. Your move is cleaner, you ask, calmly and publicly. "Help me understand. What are you disagreeing with specifically?" Then stop. Now they must either engage honestly or admit that they were never here to be honest. If they dodge, the audience notices. If they attack, the viewers will see it. You don't have to win the argument. You have to win the optics. Machiavelli would smile at it. Because perception is the battlefield, and you simply push them to fight without camouflage. Now here's the harsh reality. This strategy will cost you comfort. Because the moment you demand clarity, you stop being simple. You no longer consider it safe to poke. And those who profited from your easygoing nature will get irritated. Good. Irritation is information. It reveals who liked you and enjoyed having influence over you. Now we'll seal it. Because detecting intents is meaningless if you keep the wrong people around. When you start using "help me understand," two categories display immediately. 1. Those who value you more. 2. Those who attempt to penalize you for seeking clarity. The first group is safe. Not ideal, but safe. They can tolerate directness. They can handle accountability. They aren't hooked to fog. The second group represents the threat. Because if someone gets angry when you ask them to clarify, it usually suggests they were using confusion to manipulate you, and when bewilderment fails, they intensify. This is where you turn Machiavellian, not cruel, strategic. You don't approach them with childish allegations such, "You hate me." That invites denial, defamation, and counterattack. It turns into a drama. Drama is where they flourish. Instead, you adjust access. Less information, less closeness, increased formality, increased distance. You do not make an announcement, you don't give a speech, you simply get tougher to reach, read, and manipulate, like a fortress gate closing quietly. Because most people learn this lesson too late. The person who secretly despises you does not have to defeat you in public. They simply need enough access to silently harm you via rumors, sabotage, misrepresentation, or opportune treachery. As a result, prevention holds true power. You stop sharing your plans with folks who smile too much when you're struggling and go silent when you succeed. You cease sharing your insecurities with those who collect information like weapons. You must stop mistaking proximity with loyalty. Stop mixing history with safety. And quit mixing civility with peace. Machiavelli's society was not based on positive vibes. It was about surviving in halls filled with masks. If you want to survive modern social politics, you must cultivate one habit. Do not panic when something feels strange. Do not accuse. Do not explain. Demand clarity. Help me comprehend. Then watch. Because watching without reacting turns you become a reflection. Mirrors frighten liars. Mirrors fear manipulators. Mirrors frighten secret haters. They are unable to hide from their own reflection. Here's your final identity shift. You aren't naive. You were trained to be nice. You were trained to smooth things out. You were taught to disregard minor warning flags in order to avoid conflict. However, these minor indications are the precursors of a larger problem. As a result, you develop the ability to cope with discomfort, a person who is easily misinterpreted, the type of individual who does not require the approval of others in order to feel comfortable. This is what unplayable means. And this is not paranoia, it is intelligence. You don't despise people. You do not pursue enemies. You simply cease giving your throat to anyone with a concealed weapon. Use these 3 words. Observe the reaction. Change access. Remember that when you compliment someone, they do not disclose themselves. When asked to clarify, they expose who they are. If you want to take it a step further, watch the next video, which is darker. How to punish disrespect calmly without wrath, rants, or any emotional expression. Following that, how to distinguish between jealousy and adoration before envy becomes sabotage. But for now, you have the key. If you can eliminate that childish desire to be loved, you become dangerous.